Good morning, everybody. Evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world today. Um, I'm just coming to you again with another, hopefully, short video. I don't want to be too long, but I just wanted you to think about something here. And this is for thinking people who actually think, can actually take time to do research for themselves. Maybe there's some things I may mention you don't know about or haven't heard about, but also those who are praying people who can go to God about things. Um, and I'm not trying to sound all conspiratorial, even though the word conspiracy is we make that seem like it's a bad thing in the sense that if you doubt or question something, then you are looked at differently. But that term conspiracy theorist was coined by the CIA to make those who question the JFK assassination, to make them look like they were Looney Tunes, dumb idiots, stuff of that nature, or that term you hear tinfoil hat wearers or whatever, to make this almost to shame a person for even questioning something, but that you're supposed to just accept everything for what it is, take it at face value, don't question it, go along with the narrative, just follow the program, fall in line, obey, and just go along to get along. But if you look at the shooting that happened down in Uvalde, Texas, and God rest the soul of those children. And if you look at the shooting in Sandy Hook that happened, I believe 10 years before that, you notice that the two young boys were both Adam Lanza and the young man here in this Uvalde shooting. They both were upset with a mother or grandmother. Adam Lanza shot his mom, I believe, and and then the new shooter in this one Uvalde deal, he shot, I guess, his grandmother, if I understand correctly. Then they went up to a school, okay, and just had a heyday. But then later on, reading other things and understanding that there was more than one person involved here, and that didn't surprise me, because there's other situations just like that big mass shooting in Las Vegas happened 2 or 3 years before I went down there too, where they said one guy who was the pansy, this older gentleman, went up and just start gunning people from all the way down, I think out of the Mirage Hotel or one of those hotels down there in Vegas, and just taking all of these people out all by himself, moving all this artillery, moving all of this ammo, going from room to room at light speed. And they say it was only that person. And this is what they're feeding you through the media about that shooting in Vegas. And the FBI standing close to the sheriff, and you look at the sheriff over that county in Vegas, and you just see over his face, his countenance, it's like, man, I want to tell the truth. I just want to say what I really want to say. But the FBI standing so close to him, to where there's just like, and they're looking at him like, man, you better not say the wrong thing. You better not fall out of line. Do not say the wrong thing. Even though he had the authority and jurisdiction, he could have shut the FBI down. He runs that whole county. They were in his county. But that's beside the point. You have a thing today called, mentioning all of that, you have a deal called MK Ultra, and which is mind control. They do this over certain celebrities. They do this over the program shooters. They have program shooters that they, in essence, they hypnotize them, and they put them under some type of spell, and they program them to go out and to commit acts of violence. This has been admitted through different people in the CIA and the FBI. They have acknowledged this. Look up MK Ultra. Look up program shooters. If the internet haven't scrubbed that yet, there's a lot of stuff being taken down off of YouTube. There's a lot of stuff that's being taken down off of Google. Google owns YouTube. You know, they purchased it back in 2010 for $20 billion. But MK Ultra, program shooters. And so, you know, they always look at one person as the pansy. But going back to what I'm saying is that it's not a coincidence that you see all of these shootings happening once again under this administration, under the last administration, around a certain time or season, under the administration before that. And then as soon as these things happen, here come another shooting. Here come another shooting. So some big mouth politician can get up there and yell, primarily, and it's always Democrats, yell for gun control, gun laws, we want guns. We want your guns. We want more gun control. And then you have this moron on TV, Joe Biden, the prostitute of the White House, who is asking for, who wants to remove 9mm, because it can puncture and damage the lung. Well, listen, now you want to come against the handguns. Listen, the government always wanted your guns. Guns aren't the problem. It's the people that's the problem. Knives aren't the problem. It's the people using the knives and the bats that's the problem. If you look at the FBI statistics, more people die from different things than guns. If you look at the statistics on freak accidents, if you look at the statistics on car accidents, are you going to ban all cars? Are you going to ban all knives because of a knife situation? Are you going to ban all bats and chains? Are you going to ban all these different things because of somebody? Yet they call for more gun control, these politicians and the Democrats in Chicago, the city that has the highest quote unquote gun control laws, has the most violent crime. And yet they won't talk about that. They won't talk about that at all. But has the most violent crime. More people perished in Chicago over a decade, and a little longer now than a decade now, than almost in the Afghanistan war. Almost 4,000 people or more. But they won't talk about that. But when a white officer so-called kills a black guy, then Black Lives Matter. I better not go there. Of course, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. But yet they won't talk about the black lives that are being shot up every day and what to do about that now. But they'll talk about it when a white officer, but not when blacks are killing blacks. You see? Hypocrisy. This is all political. This is all a bunch of crap. And the thing is that you have the biggest gun laws in this city, but yet the criminals don't give up the guns. So they're talking, and California, another blue controlled, Democratic controlled, when I say blue, state. I believe more people that live in the state itself are conservative, Republican, whatever. But it's controlled by Democrats, primarily, as far as the political scene goes. And so you have some of the most hardest gun laws there, but yet there's gun shootings and killings all the time. So what are they, when they're talking about gun control, when they're talking about taking away people's guns, that's not going to solve the problem, because the criminals will never give up their guns. And you're disarming good people who could be in situations, as I've seen many times, to help somebody who may be in need. What stops a bad guy with a gun, as they say, is a good guy with a gun. A good guy. And yet all these hypocritical Democrat politicians, I'm going to call it what it is. You can love it or leave it. These Democrat politicians who are calling for gun control want you to be disarmed, but yet they want protection for their families. They don't want these schools to be protected and these schools to be armed and secured, but yet you have to go through all levels of clearance, security, and protection just to get into the congressional floor, the Senate floor, up on the Capitol building. You got to go through all kind of levels of clearance on your tax dollar, but yet the schools, piss on the schools, crap on the schools, but yet you hypocrites who sit in such a high and mighty place of position can have whatever the heck you want. But you don't give a dang about these children that are being innocent, but yet you're up here on a bunch of bull talking about how you need to come against the guns. And what happens is that when you disarm the people, you leave them subject for attack. And history always repeats itself. Why in the heck would I trust a government for my protection when the government can't even do half the stuff right? We have everything falling apart. And Joe Biden did last month said, when pertaining to, certain things that's falling apart in the economical system, and I don't want to misquote him, but he pretty much said, in essence, screw you, you're on your own. So why in the world would I trust this freaking government with my protection when they can't even protect children or make sure they're set in place? Let alone you have this moron, Joe Biden, who wants to say that black children, needy children, minority children, and any child of that matter, he's looking at them not having meals, looking into that, if it's not already gone into effect, can't have no school meals, lunches provided by the government, unless you bow down on your knees and bend over and accept the LGBTQ RSTUVXXYZ agenda to be indoctrinated. But that's another video for another time. These people are unhinged. And yeah, I'm going off right now because I'm sick and tired of the devil in our schools. I'm sick and tired of the devil in this nation, even though we know it's getting dark. And as Isaiah 60 says, darkness, yea, gross darkness shall cover the earth. Yes. And yet they have the best protection. They have the best security. They're all armed and they got all the protection they need. They say walls are evil, but yet their houses have walls all around them. The Pope said walls are evil, but he got walls all around his place. You see, these guys are hypocrites and they're servants of Satan. So before they go preaching and getting on their high horse, they need to look at their own lives and check their own selves. They're hypocrites with an agenda. And history repeats itself. You look at Hitler, disarmed all the community. All the Jews were left without a defense. What happened? They all got rounded up and taken on the train carts down to the internment camps, to the camps, right? What happened when Mao disarmed all the Chinese? 20 million people or more was killed. What happened when Stalin disarmed all the people there? I believe that was Russia. All these millions died. History always repeats itself. And this government right here that is calling everybody that's a Christian, conservative, that loves God, that's calling everybody a racist, that is sending the DOJ after you if you dare, and through by the way of FBI, if you dare even question what's being taught in schools and go to your local school board meetings, that they will intimidate you and come knock on your window or your door of your house for dare speaking up and having something to say? These authoritarian demons? How in the world do I trust them when they have attacked the church? They have attacked God. They have criticized Christianity. And don't think because you're a Christian and you vote Democrat that they care for you. They don't give a crap about you. You better understand me today. They don't care about you. And if they disarm you, listen, that's why countries probably, I'm sure that's why they haven't even invaded, was because we are armed. And all of these citizens, over 100 million different guns around this country, that's on record. Not to mention the ones that's off record in the black market. And when you disarm this country, you're leaving it vulnerable for attacks. And anything can go. And hauled off without defense. And when things go chaotic, and when the economy falls, and it will, and when things go crazy, and it will, and when there's more food shortages, and there will be, when everything goes haywire, and people are going from house to house to find food, and everything goes, and when there's total anarchy, and I pray we're not here, we're caught up in the by and by. But if so, you better have some protection. You have a responsibility to protect your family. You have a responsibility to protect yourself. Well, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Yeah, I understand that. But protecting yourself is not living by the sword. Protect yourself. It didn't say go murder people and live a life of violence. Living by the sword is for people who lives a life of killing and violence. Protecting yourself is a whole different thing. Jesus even told his disciples when they went out, he said, sell your cloak and buy a sword. Well, why he say that? Look it up. Why he say buy a sword? I told someone that who was schooled in the word and knew the word inside out. Well, I showed them that scripture. They must not even believe that scripture existed. They went in there, it was like, oh my goodness. Well, why? Because he knew they would encounter bears or lions or wolves or something, or robbers or thieves. They needed protection too. They didn't have guns and AKs and all that. They didn't have 9mm and 22s. They had swords and knives and daggers. That's it. So don't ever think that you have to disarm. And don't ever, I don't care what laws they pass, shall not infringe. There will be the Second Amendment was created. And Joe Biden said that the Second Amendment is not, absolute or whatever. Okay, well, neither are you, Joe Biden. You're not absolute. None of you politicians are absolute, Democrat or Republican. None of you are absolute. So if you, but they take the Constitution and they try to wipe their butts with it. That's what they do. I know I'm going off and I'm being raw, man. I'm not playing around. But you guys need to wake up and understand. It amazes me in a country that has been so free all these years between America and Canada that we so easily bow down and give up our rights without a single shot being fired. Without a single shot being fired. We give up our First well, not our first, but we give up our, all these different rights. And even, we just hand them over. Here you go, and bow down and become sheeple and led, and like we're willing to be led to the slaughter, all in the name of false safety. We so easily give up our rights, hence COVID. Falling for the narrative and the crap, and now they're trying to pull this monkeypox stuff on us, which is a bunch of malarkey. It's a bunch of junk. It's trash. It's garbage. And people are going to fall for it and eat it up. And the NIH is going to fall in line, and they're going to put Dr. Dum Dum or Fauci up there, and everybody's going to believe it. Monkeypox been around for years. This is all planned to put fear so that they can have control. It's all about control. Gun control. Fear used to control. That's why they want chips, to control the money, where you spend it, what you're buying, if you're not talking right, the ESG credit score, all that stuff. So if you don't talk right, think right, do right, speak right, we shut your money off. It's all about control, okay? It's all about control. And that's what the devil does. He acts like an insecure boyfriend who always got to watch and see where his girlfriend goes. He's an insecure little limp wimp, all right? But I love you guys. Don't ever give up your guns if you have them. Get a gun if you don't have one. You have a right to bear arms. And as Charlton Heston said at the NRA convention, from my cold, dead hands. Because once they get your guns, you're going to the camps. I promise you that. You'll be left without protection, and all of the politicians, every one of them, even the mayors and governors, they'll have protection. You won't. You won't have nothing. So think, pray, and use wisdom. God bless you.